Willow Tree Waltz. This piece is played best if you can think about the boughs of the willow tree as they float to the ground. And that is represented by this. The other part, which is the arpeggio going up, think of those as maybe flowers, but they're not part of the melody. And that's what I hear students do the most. Don't rush the right hand arpeggios. So that means that you are going to hold back. Think of the gracefulness of the arpeggio versus trying to get to the top. So these arpeggios, use your hand to get this flow going up. Also, think, of making the left hand note with arm weight and the right hand finger touch. So we have two different sounds. Also, when you're doing this little turn, make sure you're using arm weight on the A and the B, and then deliberately add the second A. What I heard you play was going too fast. You notice my hand is going this way. It's almost slapping towards. And then this hand now is doing the arpeggio with more of a butterfly fingering, with that wrist going up. When you're doing the inner chords in measure 17, again, think of it as a butterfly weight. So the arpeggio, my arm weight's there on the A, and these chords are quieter. That is a different sound from, they're too close together, and so they get in the way of the melody, which is, it also gives a feeling more of intrigue or more mysterious versus, see, that's much too loud. So we call that balancing. I'm balancing the sound of the melody, and I'm placing the chords underneath. I want you to really watch the pedaling. So I'm going to play the pedaling with just the left hand. Here's my foot. I make sure I can reach to the bottom of the pedal and the top of the pedal. You have to play with the pedal to get that feeling. Pedal goes down after I make the sound. When I play the next sound, there's a bleed. By lifting and lowering the pedal, I remove the bleed. And so you use your ear to hear that bleed and to remove it. When I get to the next part, measure 5, I need to make sure I lift the pedal completely. And I'm listening to keep it from bleeding. And so when working on pedal, you're working on 3 things. When I put down the pedal, when I refresh the pedal, and when I release the pedal completely. The music basically shows you exactly when to do that, and so spend some time doing that. The ending is really the prettiest part of the whole piece, and I would work my way backwards on this ending. So first I would work on the final arpeggio. I'm playing an open 5th. The pedal is down, by the way, for this. My thumb is on the F sharp. My 2 is on the A. My pinky is on the D, and that is a first inversion D major chord. So you may want to practice these different clusters of notes or different chords. Here it is in the root position without the middle note. Here is a first inversion chord, and the left hand crosses over and also plays what looks like a first inversion chord without the middle note. So I would work on this first, and then I would work on the individual notes. I would also make sure that I put the emphasis on the first note of this and the final note of this, because those are the downbeats. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Finally, once I've got that, then I might add the ritardando, and to do that I'm going to think about the 8th note flow. So if I'm thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Here it is in tempo. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3. Here it is with the ritardando. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and off. Once I have that, I'm now going to practice going from this chord, the 5/7 chord before it. The pinky's playing a low A. You may not be able to see it on the overhead. My thumb is playing the G, and then I have a C sharp, and I have to think this chord. I'm looking at the distance. The left hand moves the pinky up to the D, but this hand doesn't have to move. It just is a slight over to the F sharp. Once I've got that, now I'm going to go back to measure 36. And I notice I have 2 notes in the left hand and a D major chord in the right hand. And now I noticed everybody was having trouble with this. But if you look at the piano, you'll notice that for the right hand, it's nearby. So there's the C sharp I want to get to. So I'm thinking from my thumb to that C sharp. And I would practice that a few times so that I don't have to even look as I do it. Now the other hand I do have to look. And I'm going down 2 A's. 1, 2. And I have 3 beats to do that, and the pedal's down. So watch my hands. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, move, 3, 1, I've got that squared, then I'm going to go back to 33 and I'm going to play that pattern. And we're back to that thing of rotating towards finger 4 because we want it to speak. 1, then 2. 1, then 2, and 3, and A. So it goes from an A to an A. That's the first shape. And if you look at the music, there's an actual shape that tells you that. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, and 2 and 3 and 1. The second shape doesn't start on that A. It starts on the B with the right hand going down. I hear people doing this, but that's not what's there. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, and now we'll go to A, and now we'll go to A. You stay there. There's the D. Move over to the C sharp 2 octaves down. And you notice the left hand was the only hand that moved. This hand moves over. I would love to hear more dynamics from you, in particular, wider dynamics. So I know that you know the dynamics, so I want more of them. So the mezzo piano, I want to plan that it's not going to be too loud because it's just the weeping. So now even though these are going to get louder, it's more like I'm thinking up. Then this B is more, and then I go back down. I think more and back. Now we have a mezzo forte, the right hand, a little louder. This one stays up. I would do the ritardando the first time. By the way, that chord, much quieter. Then you're already there. To the forte. 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 Stay up there. Think more dramatic. Back to piano. This is the quietest moment of the piece of art. Then I come back up. Now when I get to the ending, it really doesn't get too loud. It starts mezzo piano and even gets quieter. 2, 3, 1, 2. When you have a note that's worth 3 beats, I want the full 3 beats, and that's measure 16 and measure 32. I want a little space before I return. I'm going to start again and listen to when I go from section to section how I give more space, almost a breath. This much flows. This is higher. Stay up there. 1, 2, 3. You see how I took that 3 and I even broadened it out a little so that there would be a sense of new thing happening. I'm going to do the ending. Did you hear that little micro break? I just had a little break in between so that it sounded like a new thing. I'm going to get to the end of the B section. Listen. Did you hear that physical break of sound? That way I didn't feel like I was rushing to get back. You know where to go, so give me a little time to go in there. Finally, when you're getting from the A return to the coda, that's when I would do the Poco Ritardando. So here I am at 13 second time around. Listen, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then. These are stars. I hope these ideas help you as you continue to learn this piece, The Willow Tree Waltz by Nancy Faber.